Hello everyone, in this video we're going to be going through the Business 121 final project. So the project is going to be due by the end of the day, May 2nd, 2021. This is just going to represent a culmination of what you learned throughout the class this semester. It is going to be worth 300 points, so this is a fairly large portion of your grade. Your project will be about a publicly traded company that you admire. So when you think publicly traded, think about something that you can buy stock in personally. Now, whether that's a Tesla or a Google or an Amazon, or even any sort of smaller company that might not be as popular as those companies, as long as you can kind of buy stock in them personally through whether it be through the Dow or the stock exchange, you can write about it. So if you do have questions about a company that you're interested in writing about, feel free to reach out to me about that. But the paper is going to be about that company, and then the final project is going to be broke up into three major components: introduction, corporate strategies, and conclusion. So now we're going to go kind of through, the different aspects of what I'm going to be looking for in each of those, portions. So the first portion here is going to be what is the name and the mission statement of the company. So any publicly traded company, you should be able to find the mission statement fairly easy just by a quick Google search. If you're doing something along the lines of maybe you're writing about Anheuser-Busch, you'll just, do Anheuser-Busch mission statement, and then it should come up pretty easily. And then the second one is what is the history of the company up through present day? So summarize major events and tell how those major events affected the company. A timeline might be a great way to show these major events. I am not looking for a full historic paper. I'm just kind of looking for maybe 3 to 5, 5 to 7 sort of bullet points on kind of what happened, from the very beginning of the company to present day, and kind of what formed the company into the, company that it has become. So, if you're writing about maybe like Apple or something like that, maybe, Apple when they first got their start, kind of what happened throughout the 80s on into the 90s, a couple of bullet points designated to there. Early 2000s, think about like iPod, and then slowly progressing into the iPad, iPhone, different things like that. So right there, that's already about 5 bullet points that you can kind of touch on just for a company like Apple. So, you don't want to spend a whole lot of time on the introduction, maybe a page to a page and a half, something along those lines. But once again, this is not going to be just about the history of the company. The next portion here is going to be about corporate strategies. So we're going to cover corporate strategies between bullet point 3 through 7 here. So first one was going to be writing about one example of good ethical behavior for the company. So this could be in the past or in the present. Just make sure that you're, writing about why they made this decision and kind of, what do they hope to achieve out of this. So any sort of examples is going to be great. So whether this is, possibly something about the company going green or the certain initiative they're working on, just make sure that you do have those, examples to support it. Then in the reverse with that, we're going to be talking about one example of poor ethical decision. So once again, this could be in the past or it could be in the present, and then just make sure you tell why they made this decision. So, a good example is, possibly like Nike, how they use, child labor in, third world countries to, help build their shoes and different things like that. You can talk about that and then maybe kind of what they did to correct it. But once again, just make sure you do have those examples to support that. Number 5, write about their marketing and distribution strategies. Once again, provide examples to support your statements. Number 6, write about their operations. So think, day to day, kind of what do they do to get, the product or their service out. And then number 7 is going to be include at least one financial statement for the company. Now, this could be an income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement, or budget. Make sure that these statements are no older than 5 years old. So if you're going to be writing about, a company like an Apple, you can just go out on like Yahoo Finance and just look for, Apple balance sheet or Apple income statement, and it should be pretty easy to, find that information to put into the paper. And then finally, you're going to write a summary of the paper to kind of wrap it up at the end. This is going to be about a page for the end portion of it. And then for the requirements for this paper, the paper should be a minimum of 7 pages in length, double spaced. One page should be a cover page, which states the title of your project, your name, and then the title and the day the assignment is due. Another page should be a bibliography. So that's already 2 pages out of the 7 that you've already got down there. And then, just kind of going above to Some of these sections in here kind of talks about, you got your summary, or yeah, your summary and your conclusion. That's going to be a page. Talks about the history. That's going to be another page. Page and a half right there and everything. So already you've already got close to 4 to close to 5 pages, kind of without even going into the into real depth here for the corporate strategy. So I think you should be able to get that 7-page minimum pretty easily. There is no maximum with this paper. So, feel free to kind of write as much as you want, but just make sure you do meet that 7-page minimum. With this paper, you should have at least 5 sources. Please note that Wikipedia is not a source. It's a great place to start, but do not cite it. So if you do want to go out to Wikipedia and look up the history of the company and kind of see what sources that they've used, that is a great way to kind of start. But yeah, if I see, you say that, Apple is a great company because of yada, 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 and then you have a citation for Wikipedia, I am going to mark that as not being a source at all. So just make sure that you're kind of keeping up with that. The font size for this paper should be size 11 Calibri. And then kind of the biggest portion here is something that possibly you're not used to, is this paper is going to be written in APA format. If you're not familiar with APA, I would definitely check out this Purdue OWL link right here. It goes into a lot of great depth about APA formatting, as well as MLA or any other type of formatting that you might, be doing here at Lincoln Land or any other university. But APA is typically a format that we use in business courses. So if you intend on taking other business courses and intend on, furthering your education to a business major, I would definitely recommend getting used to APA format, because it is going to be something you see a lot. The reason why typically you see APA formatting in business courses is it's a lot of bullet points. It's broken up into different sections, whereas MLA is more about like a narrative, and you're writing, I guess it flows a lot more. Whereas APA, like I said, you focus kind of on bullet points. So with this paper, you're essentially going to have 3 major bullet points. You're going to have an introduction, you're going to have corporate strategies, and you're going to have a conclusion. And under those 3 bullet points, you're going to have different subheaders. So, for the introduction, you're going to be talking about history and, the mission statement. For the corporate strategies, you're going to be talking about their marketing strategy, and you're going to talk about ethical decisions and different things like that. So each one of those should have a bullet point, and then you essentially just kind of write that portion of the paper under those bullet points. So it does break it up nice and evenly, and it is very easy to kind of understand as you go through it. Number 5 here, this is a research paper, therefore you should refrain from using I, me, my, or any other pronoun where it portrays you speaking in the first person. I'm not necessarily looking for your opinion, I'm looking for facts. So if you start out, a paper saying, I'm writing about Apple because I think they've been a profitable company over, the past 30 years, that's not necessarily a fact. I need information to provide, the background for that. That's essentially just kind of you saying, well, I think that they are a profitable company, which might be true, but you do need that factual information saying, according to this source, Apple has been a profitable company because they've had, returns of, X amount over the last 5 years or 10 years or whatever it might be. So just make sure that you do kind of refrain from using those pronouns. And then finally, you may insert graphics or charts into your paper, but only if they help further illustrate what you're writing about. So if you do have, some information saying, I think, Google is a great company because they've been able to, have returns of X amounts over the last 5 years, and then you want to have, a chart to kind of illustrate that. I'm perfectly fine with that. But yeah, just make sure it does relate to the paper and kind of what you're trying to portray in that. So overall, it should be a fairly straightforward research paper. If you do have questions about the paper, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always willing to take a look at your paper beforehand. Before you turn it in and give you some feedback on it and kind of different things that I might be looking for, or, critique it a little bit. So always feel free to reach out to me for that. And you can do that from the start of the semester all the way until the paper is due. So yes, don't think it's something that, you have to wait until April to send me it. I do have a lot of students throughout the year that'll start working on this paper, fairly early on. So if you have questions about your paper or the instructions or anything like that, feel free to reach out to me. All right, thanks.